again.
What the fuck are you doing?
Moonball.
Moonball, that's how we're starting it. Welcome back to the Reverbium podcast. I just wait for you to do dumb shit every time.
This time I was actually gonna wait and do the It's Friday then thing again that I've been doing before this, but okay.
Yeah. You can still do it, Sean. You can still do it.
It's too late now. I can't talk
late.
about it and then do it.
But Sean, it's Friday then.
It's Saturday, Sunday. What?
It's Friday. Yeah, welcome back to the Reverbium podcast.
The only time we can do it.
Welcome back to the Reverbium podcast. Like I said, my name is Jimmy.
Oh, I'm Sean.
Yeah, he's Sean.
You change it every time. You
That's the point. That's the point. You've got to be ready. You've got to be ready.
How am I supposed to be ready if I don't know what to say?
You saw us maybe in the earlier in the week talking about the European Super League.
If you didn't, go and see it now.
Yeah, go back and see it. It's on the channel. Since the main topic of this podcast will be Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we're going to be starting with the European Super League again because big news came out. Sean, take it away.
It's dead. It's dead.
It's dead.
It took less than 48 hours.
Well, it's not dead. It's just L Super League now. It is L Super League.
It's dead. Yeah, so...
it's going to be a league of Barcelona and Real Madrid. That's it. Basically, La Liga.
On Tuesday, there were rumours that two English clubs were thinking of pulling out, that they were promised the wrong things with the Super League, and basically they couldn't handle the backlash, which led to all 6 of the Premier League teams pulling out on the same day. Giggity.
I like how Chelsea was one of the teams that was first going to drop out, and apparently they were the last one
to officially announce it. Yeah. Was amazing. But yeah, it seems that the greedy owners couldn't handle the backlash, which I don't even think was that bad at that point. It was weird. Obviously people were saying a lot, speaking out against it, but at the end of the day, if they had some balls and stuck to it, no one could have done anything. I didn't want it to happen. I'll reiterate that. But I do think it's quite funny that there seemed to have been a tiny bit of pushback, and they're like, "Oh, okay, no, we can't do it." But I'm glad that it happened, but it does also seem a bit this is a bit anticlimactic. There's it literally took less than 48 hours of people going, "Nah, we don't want it," and to go, "Okay, we won't do it then because you don't want it."
Yeah.
But yeah, as it stands, Real Madrid and Barcelona are the 2 teams left in it, I believe. I think all the Italian teams pulled out.
I'm not sure.
And apparently, it's not, according to Perez. It's not completely over.
Dead.
It's on standby. So yeah,
it's going to be on standby forever.
Well, I don't think it will. I think a few years they'll try again. They'll come out. What will happen is that they'll put it to the side for now, and in the background they'll have more discussions, and they'll probably come up with a way to try and market it. It'll be the same idea, but try and market it in a better way so there's less of a backlash.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they can do that, I don't know. The only way I can see of them doing that is offering a lot of money for lower leagues, but they won't do that because the whole point of them is to
giving money to other teams.
Yeah,
sure.
So
really?
I can't really see that happening. What is quite funny though is that what seemed to have gone fairly under the radar is that UEFA still went ahead with their plans for the new Champions League layout. Which people seem to have just ignored.
To be fair, I didn't know. I genuinely didn't know.
There's a good reason why, because I'm looking down the BBC News, the BBC Sport page right now, in the football, and there is nothing about it at all. But as far as I'm aware, there are UEFA.
Yeah,
it's kind of the same sort of thing as the Super League, is that some clubs will actually keep their place. I'll try and find exactly what it is, because there's going to be 4 additional spots. I think we spoke about this before on a podcast, that they were thinking about doing this. That basically they're adding more fixtures. They're making it into 2 big leagues, or a big league that but they won't all play each other or anything. So it's more games. It's kind of like the same format as the Super League, and I'm trying to find out. This is really weird wording on what they're saying on this. So, qualification for the Champions League will continue to be open and depend on a club's final position in the previous season's domestic league competition. The additional 4 slots available in the 2024-2025 will be allocated according to 3 different criteria. Slot 1. One of the additional places will go to the club ranked 3rd in the Championship of the Association and 5th position in the UEFA National Association ranking. So, in normal talk, whichever league, I believe, is the 5th in like the 5th position in the UEFA rankings. So it's probably it could be Holland, it could be Russia, could be Turkey.
English,
not sure.
Spanish, Germany, Italy.
Italy could be France then.
France. I don't know.
Be the 5th. But yeah, basically, whoever comes 3rd in that league will get an extra spot. Another will be awarded to a domestic champion by extending from 4 to 5 the number of clubs qualifying via the so-called Champions Path. So to me, that sounds like... I think that just means that whereas they have so many like champions, so like the winner of the Premier League, the winner of the Spanish League, they'll be adding another league sort of thing. So I don't know who they currently don't have, or who it could be. But let's say, for example, it could be like the winner of the Czech Republic domestic league or the Swedish domestic league. I don't know.
Bring in the Saudis already. Why not? Yeah, bring in the Saudi league. Not in Europe.
They're not European.
No, that's the point. That's the point.
Okay. And
it's just a money competition.
Will be awarded to the 2 clubs with the highest. There we go. The highest club coefficients that have not qualified automatically for the Champions League stage, but have qualified either for the Champions League qualification phase or the Europa League / the Europa Conference League, due to start in the 2021-2022 season. Right.
Anyway, they changed what they're gonna do. Everyone ignored it. No one saw it. The world's at an end.
So this
UEFA are just as bad. Let's just say
the slots 3 and 4 seem to be the same sort of thing of like. So I think how that reads. Say Liverpool were to get 4th position in that season, they would obviously have to go through the qualifying stages to get into the Champions League. I think if they were then to be knocked out in the qualifying stage, or if they were in a position to get to that qualifying stage, they wouldn't have to qualify. They'd just be automatically in. I don't know if they'd have to play the qualifying games or not. Like if you go into the qualifying stage and fail to get through, you get the spot. Or if you just get into that spot where you would be qualifying, it's like, okay, you don't have to qualify, you're automatically in because you have a high enough coefficient. Yeah.
Just sounds
basically
overly complicated.
Those 2 spots are kind of the same sort of thing of the historical teams will get to keep a place. Yet nobody seems to really care, probably because no one can understand what the fuck is going on and what it actually means. Because I don't know for certain if what I've said is true. That's how I interpret what's wrote down. But
the Super League was just a distraction. All of these owners are actually secretly working with UEFA.
Just to get this passed through. But basically, so the last 16 will take place. The results of each match will decide the overall ranking in the new league. So everyone will go into one massive league, but they won't play everyone in the league, which is dumb as fuck. But the fixtures will get worked out depending on coefficients. So let's say they play 10 games. 5 of them will be against stronger competition. 5 will be against so-called not as strong competition. With the usual 3 points for a win, 1 for a draw, 0 for a loss. and then the top 8 teams will advance automatically to the round of 16. Those sides placed between 9th and 24th will enter a playoff round. Those who finish between 9th and 16th will be seeded in the playoff draw, meaning they'll face a team placed 17th to 24th with home advantage in the second leg. Teams who finish 25th or lower will be eliminated with no access to Europa League. Okay, so that kind of makes
I don't mind
Europa
that.
League a bit fairer, yeah.
Yeah.
So that it's Europa League teams that are going to have a chance to win the Europa League, because obviously quite often what happens is that you see a Champions League team get that third spot in the group, go to the Europa League, and then go and win it. So it seems the Europa League is going to be more of its own competition. Then the 8 clubs who prevail in the playoffs will then progress into the round of 16, where they'll each face one of the top 8 finishers. So they're adding a ridiculous number of more games for certain teams. So if you're a team that finishes between like 9th and 16th, between 9th and 24th, and you win your playoff game, you've then got an extra playoff game to play before then going to the knockout stage, as well as the extra group stage games you're playing compared to usual. So, yeah, although managers, players, everyone are moaning about that there's too many games, they're adding more games. And why are they adding more games? More TV rights, more money. Yet no one cares.
Because we hate the American owners. But
Okay, I kind of side with them on this, okay? Because they have a heading of what does the new Champions League format mean for fans. The first one, more opportunities to see Europe's top teams play each other earlier in the competition. More money. That says to me, like, that's just what it is. They're trying to get more games in.
We get more money.
Better competition.
You get to watch some football if you want to.
Because obviously previously they play 6 games against 3 of the teams, and maybe if you're already a bigger team, you get 1 against another bigger team. But the next bit, every game counts. The new league format will ensure that any result has the potential to dramatically change a team's position right up to the very last match day. Winning or losing can make the difference between the side automatically qualifying for the last 16, entering playoffs, or being eliminated. That kind of makes sense to me, is that because obviously quite often you can see a team, let's say for example Man City, will like win their first 3 games in the group, and then it's a case of, oh well, they're through, and the rest of the games for them don't really mean anything. Whereas at least this way, every qualification game will make a difference, because you have to try and be as high up that table as possible, or at least ensure you're in the top 8. Which, who knows, we might see that happens anyway, because you probably still end up getting a team that like wins 7 of its games. So by the time it gets to like the last couple of games, it's like, well, it's physically impossible for them to drop down out of an automatic place. But we might see less teams doing that. Yeah. So I kind of get that, but it's a bit stupid that they're adding these extra games in when nobody, or like the players, the teams and everything, don't want the extra games. I haven't really heard anyone like in a discussion go, you know what the Champions League needs? More games. Like everyone seems to be happy with how it is. So it does again just seem to be another money grab, but
I'll be honest, I don't mind the changes, except the fact that it just feels very confusing right now. They need to maybe clarify exactly what they mean, give a few examples, you know. But I will reserve my judgment until we see it.
I think we discussed it when we spoke about it before, when they thought about bringing this in, is that we also don't know what this means for like English domestic competitions, because the extra games needed for this would clash with the League Cup. So
didn't we discuss maybe it means top teams would have to drop out of the League Cup?
Yeah, whether they'd do that though, because I imagine the teams would have something to say about that. Like, although they're going, we've got more games, they don't want to give up the chance of another piece of silverware, especially a team like Man City, who seem to make the final most years and win it a lot. But they'd obviously want the chance to win the extra cup, but how they would fit those games, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a bit odd that people seem to have just glazed over this and seem to not paying attention to it, when actually it's not a huge amount better than the Super League. It's still kind of better because for the majority of it, it's merit-based. Yeah. That you have to have done well in the previous league, but
Well,
At the end of the day, UEFA are still corrupt.
Yeah, it's the Super League.
UEFA, don't come and kill me.
It's
But
the
you are
Super
corrupt.
League, but with elements of what people actually wanted,
Yeah.
but with the greed still in there. Which is, I don't care. Football's a money business now. Do what you want, as long as you're not, completely neglecting the fans, like some owners, which we'll get onto now. Still
Yeah,
continuing this
this
story.
has caused a big
Yeah.
uproar between certain teams of it's gone on a bit longer, so they want the owners out.
Yeah, two teams in particular. Well, three teams actually. So you got your Arsenal. You've got
With going on right
Kroenke,
now
yeah.
as we talk.
Yeah, we've got your Liverpool with FSG wanting them out, and probably the biggest one that I've seen just because of the uproar online is Manchester United with the Glazers.
I think Arsenal are kind of matching that now. There were
Mm.
quite a few people outside the Emirates tonight. Arsenal are playing
Just
tonight
wait,
as we
wait until
talk.
Sunday. Just wait until
But
Sunday.
yeah, there was quite a big one that you had Man United fans blocking the entrances to the training ground, saying that they will decide when the players play, and that basically they won't let them in unless the Glazers agree to sell, which is quite a big statement, especially if they keep it up. I don't know if they did. I didn't see anything today about if they were back or.
I don't know if they were back, but people have been going on about online trying to get the government to maybe intervene and add the 50+1 rule in, get a majority stake for the fans in the club rather than the owners having full authority on everything.
I think
that
that'd be
happens.
difficult to implement though at this
It
point.
would be, yes.
Because the amount of money that fans would have to raise to be able to cover half or just over half of the club would be ridiculous.
A couple billion at the very least. Yeah.
So then people who have to be putting in you're gonna have a lot of people, which then would be a nightmare to try and come to a decision on anything. Or people putting in a lot of money, which some people out there might be willing to do, but
well, this also not culminated, but it came after Edward Word. I can't even say his name. I don't even want to say his name. That bastard resigned from the club. Apparently, he was supposed to resign at the end of the season, but this got pushed up, maybe to try and use him as a scapegoat, which no one's buying. So long, farewell. I hope the Glazers join you soon. But a lot of this came also from the lack of a real apology when it came to the statements. We know Arsenal issued an apology immediately, but no one really bought it. But then every other club just sort of wrote some generic statements saying, we made a mistake, blah, blah, blah. But there was no real use of, we apologise, until Joel Glazer came out and issued a statement, which was the most PR statement. Someone's definitely written it for him, apologizing, and no one bought it. Everyone was like, just get out of the club. I nearly pulled my headphones there. But yeah, everyone was just like, get out of the club. This is same old, same old. No one's wanted the Glazers there. And it's time to go. Yeah, that's pretty much all we can talk about with the Super League and UEFA and everything for now. So
for now, it's pushed to the side. We'll probably see it back in a few years, I think. But now, it's gone.
I do have a lot of news here, so forgive me, Sean.
That's right.
But interrupt me if I ever miss out anything you have. But I'm gonna kick it off with something a little bit also on the downer for many fans, and that is Sheffield United getting relegated from the Premier League. It was confirmed this week that they are out. They are gone. They are going back down to the Championship. They have had a pretty rubbish year, sacked their manager for no reason, despite saying that, well, for a reason, but despite saying they'd support him,
back him.
But no, they didn't, and I wouldn't say they deserve it, but I'm not crying tears about it, but I feel for the fans. as always. But I
mean,
can,
someone's
yeah,
got to go down.
someone's got to go down. Someone has to go down.
Well, three teams have got to go down.
Yeah. You got any more football news at all?
Well, we have had, and we also had the confirmation of the team coming up to the Premier League, which is
yeah,
Norwich.
yeah.
They have secured promotion back to the Premier League
Back up
in their first season back down. Can't wait for them to be back down in the Championship season after.
I didn't expect you to go there. That was fun.
What?
That was good.
I can't see them doing that well. That's the thing. Unless they make mad signings. Like, there's already, like, once again, transfer talk of Aaron's leaving, Max Aaron's. So unless they make some ridiculous signings to try and keep them up,
Yeah.
can't see it happening. And even then, like, Fulham attempted to do that and it didn't work for them. So
Well, it's like in the past few years, like the top teams in the Championship, you hear about, like when Wolves went on a really good run, Newcastle, they did really well, but like with Norwich, I haven't heard anything this year. I don't know if it's about COVID's like disrupting everything, but I genuinely, I wouldn't have even known Norwich were top because it's been that quiet. On that
to be fair, they're only 5 points clear of second place. So I think they are like 13 then clear of Bournemouth. So it's not like they've massively ran away with it. But
no. Yeah. So
but I think Watford will be confirmed soon, probably that they'll be
soon.
the other promotion spot, and then it's
I
say it's going to be a fight for the playoff places, but Reading are then 6 points off a playoff place, so they look fairly set, I think, unless someone really doesn't have a good run. But
we'll in about a month's time we will get to our end of season review for the Premier League, going over our predictions. So be on the watch out for that. They're going to be so good. They're going to be ridiculously good.
I don't think I would have got one right at all.
We put City top, didn't we?
I hope so.
I think we put City top, so I think we're good.
I hope so.
We have one at least. Thankfully, my Arsenal prediction is nearly true, so I can't believe it. Oh, but yeah,
I may not turn up for that episode. Conveniently be away.
Sean, I will be away and I'll still be here, so you got to turn up.
Don't care. Don't care.
But yeah, we will be doing that. I think, are we done for football news? Is that it?
Yeah, I believe so.
I'm gonna keep it kind of football related, but a different kind of football. Alex Smith of the NFL, now former Washington quarterback. He used to play for the 49ers as well.
Do you want to finish the team name, Jimmy?
I'm not going to say it.
Well, it's just the Washington football team now.
They are the Washington football team, yes. I mean, I stopped myself from saying it because when you know the history,
it was just awkward. It's the way you went for the Washington
football team. Yeah. He also played for the Kansas City Chiefs as well. He has retired from professional football in America. It's a big loss, I guess, for Washington, for the league, but wish him the best going forward. But speaking of America, we have some Formula One news, don't we, Sean?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. This week we had the announcement of a new circuit introduced to the Formula One calendar for the 2022 season, which is the Miami track. It's going to be based around the Hard Rock Stadium. They did also yesterday, they've created a simulation of the track. And all I really want to say, I don't want to judge too much because obviously it is just a simulation. We've got the new regulations coming for the cars for that year. But all I'm going to say is I really hope the new regulations do make a difference to how well the cars can follow each other with the dirty air, because I don't think it's going to be a very exciting overtaking track otherwise. There's a lot of fast technical corners, not many slow overtaking places by the looks of it. I'm not blown away by it.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I don't want to. At the end of the day, you need to wait to see how the cars go around the circuit. But from how the layout is, it's kind of a bit like the Jeddah one for me. Is that nothing really is exciting me right now? Oh, this looks like it could create some great racing. But then, am I just thinking of the current cars that it's not going to do well for those, and we actually don't know what's going to come with the new regulations. So we'll have to wait and see.
Well, as a location, I think Miami is a pretty nice place to go for this, but again,
I think they
reserving judgment for the actual race in question.
I think they are trying to push America a bit more to get more American fans. So while they're doing this, it'll be interesting to see if a track gets dropped for it. Because obviously we're already this year on a 23 race calendar, which a lot of people are saying is too much. I can probably see Formula One pushing for a 24 race season because obviously it means more money for them. But
I
that
think
would
24 is all right.
It already puts a lot of strain on the teams, especially with the distance traveling. Like if you've got to entirely, especially for the smaller teams. So if you're a team like Mercedes or Red Bull, it's not as bad because you have enough people working for you that you can send people to start setting up their next. If there's a back-to-back weekend, you have enough people and enough equipment to send stuff to start setting up while you're still at the last place. Whereas a smaller team, like Williams or Haas or Alfa Romeo, who don't have the budget or the staff members, they literally have to take everything. So it's a lot more strain on those teams.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it depends obviously where it would fit into the calendar. I'd imagine that it'd probably be around the same time as they go to COTUS in Texas anyway, or Mexico, or when they're over that part of the world. But I think it's more likely they'll drop a circuit. What one it is, I'm not sure. Probably whoever can bring in the least money for them. At the end of the day.
Yeah. Should we go through just the results or the podium positions of the recent Formula One race?
Yeah, we can go through the Emilia Grand Prix.
Yeah. Max Verstappen took pole position, took the win, took everything.
You wanted to say pole position, didn't you?
Yeah, I really don't know. I did say pole position, and I didn't mean to say pole position. I just said he took the win. He came first.
He took the fat dub.
He took the fat dub. Lewis Hamilton came back from like getting taken all the way back. Yeah.
You say all the way back. I said this to someone I saw it at the weekend.
I
didn't watch it live at the time because I was playing cricket myself, but I did watch a full replay afterwards. It just shows how quick he is and how quick Mercedes is, that he could go off the circuit, crash into a wall, and be beached for a little while, and still only drop down to 7th place. But for anybody else, if they did that, that's back of the grid. Your race is over.
We went back to 9th. Oh, okay. I thought he jumped all the way back. I don't remember. I watched the second half of the race, but I forgot.
It was 7th or 8th. I'm sure it was. But for anybody else, that's 20th on the grid. You're not catching anybody. That's how fast that he is.
He got lucky with the red flag, though. To be fair.
Yeah, that did help. But still, at the end of the day, he came out the pits. He's still in the top 10. Which that's how far ahead he was.
Yeah. It was a good day for British drivers because Lando Norris took third place on the podium, and then you got Charles Leclerc and Sainz 4th and 5th respectively, and that's pretty much all you read. Unless you want us to read the whole list, which we can do. You got Daniel Ricciardo, Gasly, Stroll, Ocon, Alonso, Perez, Tsunoda, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, I can't say his name. Oh, I just called him a Nazi. Don't ignore that one.
I mean, that's his name. It's
Vettel, Schumacher, Mazepin, and then Bottas, Russell, and Latifi didn't finish, I believe.
Yeah, that is a huge incident between Russell and Bottas. Again, showing why, if you look at like a screenshot from the main point of contact, again showing why the halo is a great thing on the cars, because Bottas's head probably would have been taken clean off.
It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, thank God both of them walked away. Once you knew they were both fine, nice comedy moment as Russell goes over to moan at Bottas for Bottas to show him the middle finger. But I think this also once again just showed just how on another level Hamilton is. The fact that they're both in the same cars, and Bottas just couldn't find any pace in the race at all. Very similar to Turkey, that in wet conditions he was struggling a lot and was hovering around like the 8th, 9th, 10th position before the incident, and was just nowhere near the pace.
Yeah.
It was quite an interesting race for saying it was Imola. People, when it was announced we were returning, it wasn't earmarked as going to be one of the most exciting races, just because it's quite narrow for how big the cars are now. Not a huge amount of overtaking opportunities, but the rain definitely helped with that. It caused different strategies, caused people to go off. Perez, I think he left the track about 2 or 3 times during the race. Just lost control.
Christ.
He's still learning the Red Bull, and it's quite a twitchy car as it is. So the rain wouldn't have helped. But
I remember Sonoda going out of the boundaries a lot, and then getting a big smack round the arse for it. But yeah, it was an interesting race. It probably, like, Hamilton's jump from 8th or 7th, wherever he was, to 2nd was an insane thing to watch.
Showed great pace.
Norris had a really good race, and he was very unlucky. But at the same time,
the problem is just
Hamilton,
he had very worn soft tires at the end. If those tires were slightly fresher, he might have been able to fight Lewis a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But there was no point in trying to if he was going to attempt to defend the position. He then risked dropping down and losing place to Leclerc and possibly Sainz as well. So he made the right decision. But it's great to see him back on the podium. Great to see him doing well. It's only his 2nd podium in Formula One. Got his 1st last year, and obviously this one here. So, and the McLaren team seems to be improving.
Wasn't it? Both of them took the 499th and 500th podium for a British racer.
They might have done. I didn't.
I believe they talked about that during the race. They said if they both finish 2nd and 3rd, it would be that for British racing, which is quite cool. I propose one question to you. I don't know if you'll be able to answer it, but if they were to drop one track to replace it with Miami, what do you think? Like, personally, for me, I know.
So is this what I think they will do, or what I would want them to do?
Either or, both, maybe. Up to you. Like, I know they've got 2 Italian tracks. They've got Imola and they've got Monza, haven't they? Is it Monza? What's the other one?
Imola is kind of like a stand-in for this year. Monza is the other Italian one. But I think maybe Imola was never going to be like a permanent track back. It was more because they're able to do the racing there. So Imola's probably most likely, I'd say, or Portimao, because they're the 2 newest ones that were brought in as temporary ones last year. Portugal had been brought in to replace, I believe, China.
Right.
I can't see China. Yeah, because that couldn't go ahead. So one of those 2 would be most likely. One I'd like to see. They won't do it, but I want Abu Dhabi to go because it's a boring race. Sochi's not a great circuit either. And
quite weird that the last 2 races are Saudi Arabia and Abu Dhabi. It's not quite, but it's like at least put one, like, at least mix it up, you know. I know they're not right near each other, but you know what I mean.
The thing is, again, it comes back to the travel situation of the because they're in the same portion of the world, they're easier to travel between. So, like, which is weird that they put Australia and Bahrain close together because they're not that close. Then also they do like a bit of Europe, or like a big city in Europe, then go to Asia, then like the Americas, and then back and then to the Middle East. Because I got confused because I was thinking Bahrain was near the end of the year, but that was just last year. But obviously they do it for a reason, to try and stay close to each other. Which then, because personally, I'd like the season to finish at Brazil like it used to when I was growing up. That's what I remember. I like Brazil as a circuit. But it would be weird for them to, say, be in Saudi Arabia, go to Brazil, come back to Abu Dhabi, because Abu Dhabi is always going to be the last, because they pay the money for that. They pay that premium for the spectacle. So, but it's what I'd like to see. I'd also either want them to get rid of France, or to just change the layout of France, because they can. I don't know if you know this, but the Paul Ricard circuit has a ridiculous number of possibilities of circuit layouts. I believe it's like in the hundreds or something stupid like that.
I did not know.
But obviously, a lot of them are like layouts of shorter circuits
Yeah.
that just wouldn't be fit for it, like for Formula One. But basically, a lot of the corners have like different ways you can enter it or something like that. Abu Dhabi's a bit the same, that they could change the layout and they never do for no reason at all. But yeah, I'd like to see them either get rid of it or just change the layout of the circuit, because it's just not it's a boring race again. Not much happens. There's quite a few I'd like to see happen, but I think the most likely would be Imola or Portimao, because they're probably still seen as these temporary circuits.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, we'll move on from Formula One because we've got a ton of news to go through. So I have a bit of not really news, but rumors, I guess, with
Hang
Anthony.
Wait, you're still on sports, so it's fine.
We're still on form. Don't worry.
Jesus Christ,
With
fucking long.
I know. With Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, their fight is supposedly going to take place in Saudi Arabia. It's not been confirmed, but they're looking more to the Middle East, and apparently that's the most talked about venue for the fight. And they both committed to apparently a July date for the fight, so it's not far off at all. But other than that, there's not much else coming from that. We thought we'd have more from that this week, but we do not. What news did you have that you wanted to continue?
I just have from the greatest sport in the world, cricket.
Go ahead, might as well.
That cricket South Africa have been stripped of their right to miniature the sport in the country, which is quite interesting news, because we're left with not knowing if South Africa will be able to take part in international cricket. Anyone that doesn't know, that's huge. South Africa are quite a big team in cricket. They have some great players over recent years, and obviously still currently doing the team. So that would be a huge loss to international cricket. Basically, the sports minister said that he decided to invoke his powers by defunding or de-recognising the CSA, which is Cricket South Africa. It seems I weren't aware of this before today, if I'm honest, but there does seem to have been a lot of issues within Cricket South Africa, which is why this has happened. I believe it's not official. It's like a proposal, and somehow the way it works is that basically they have like a week to decide on it, and if it stays or not. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know my South African politics, so I'm not really sure on exactly how it works. But it does leave a big question mark at the moment of what's going to happen to them, if they'll still be in the international competitions or not.
Yeah,
don't really have much else because we don't know if it's confirmed or, and like what will be happening. So yeah.
That's pretty big news for especially cricket followers out there. We'll move on to a couple wrestling related ones. Oh, you went black screen. Oh no, we're still good, right? Yeah, we're still good. You good? You can hear?
Yeah, you froze me, but
okay,
I'm back.
That's all right. We're good.
Yeah. Wish I couldn't, because you're going to talk about wrestling, but
yeah, that was good timing as well. But it's not really that much to do with actual wrestling. But Ronda Rousey has announced that she's pregnant, and the baby's expected in September. The reason this is news for us, because we wouldn't normally report this sort of stuff, is because she was expected to make a possible WWE return, like soon. But obviously that's not going to happen until maybe next year. So anyone who was expecting her to return, do not get too excited. And the other news is also, well, this one's not very good news. Well, it's good news for some people, but Mickey James on Twitter put out a tweet about basically the disrespect she was shown with her like belongings that were sent to her in a bin bag. And WWE have fired Mark Carano, who's head of, I believe, talent relations, because he sent I believe, all the released superstars their belongings in bin bags. And both Triple H and Stephanie McMahon both apologized on Twitter for for what was going on, and basically said they got rid of the problem. Apparently, Mark Carano was not a very liked man by many superstars, so it's not a big loss to them, I guess. But yeah, that is all the wrestling news for now. But we have one more bad thing, and that is Ryan Giggs charged with assault. Ryan Giggs has been charged with assault. I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't really know the detail and I don't want to assume anything. But he has been bailed out, and I believe will have to attend court again on the 28th of April. So we don't really know much else other than he pleaded not guilty to the charges. But if we get any big news, we will speak about it when we get to it. So yeah, that is all of our sport news. Oh, we've got a lot coming. Oh no, it's not all of our sport news. Jake Paul beat Ben Askren in the controversial knockout, which looked very suspicious because the ref probably shouldn't have called it. But it happened, regardless of what anyone thinks of the result. Hopefully Jake Paul actually goes and fights a boxer this time. But who knows what he'll do. And oh my god, this list just keeps getting longer. Speaking of boxing, Eddie Hearn has replaced his father Barry Hearn as the chairman of Matchroom. You'd be mistaken if you thought he was already the chairman of Matchroom, but he was not. He was just the public figure pretty much for the company, but now he is also the chairman going forward. So yeah, congratulations to him, I guess. Sean, what do you have next? What do you want to go on to? Because I've got bits of news for all over the place.
I'll let you go. Cause
all right,
just run away with it. You do.
Oh my god, I really should have ordered this more. We had the Resident Evil showcase last Friday, I believe, or it might have been Thursday night. It was after the podcast anyway. Showed a bit more gameplay, and also they announced the release of a demo, which was available for a short period of time for many users. I believe it was a PlayStation demo. Well, yeah. But it gave access to, I think, about 30 minutes of the game. So people got to play that. It's been very well received as far as I could see. And if you're a fan, be on the lookout because the game comes out on the 7th, I believe, of May. So it comes out very, very soon. Battlefield. EA have announced that both a PC and / console and a mobile game are in development, 2 different games. Not much else is known right now, except there will be a formal, like, not announcement, but a trailer or something to come out, and announcing the full game. So be on the lookout for that. We might see it this weekend, or we might see it next week, but it will be soon. We also have Sony announcing that there will be more exclusives on the PS5 than there were for the PS4, apparently. And they're also working with, let me just get this up, they're also working with Firewalk Studios, which is a company founded by former Bungie veterans, Bungie being the developers behind Halo and originally Destiny. I believe they still run Destiny, but it's it's not a lot of the originals. So they will be apparently publishing a new AAA PlayStation console exclusive multiplayer IP. So something probably along the lines of maybe a PlayStation Halo, who knows. But that's all we've got from that for now. I believe that is all of my gaming news.
I have something that I've just realised was a thing. If any of you out there are GT Sport Gran Turismo fans like me, you could soon be an Olympic champion. There's going to be a virtual Olympics this year. An Olympic virtual series known as the OVS has been announced to take place ahead of the delayed Tokyo Olympics, and Gran Turismo is going to be part of it for sim racing,
Come on,
which
Sean, you
is
can
weird.
get on
I mean, no, there's no way I'm good enough. But yeah, like there's going to be a virtual games Olympics. Like gaming is coming to the Olympics. It's weird.
I wouldn't find it as weird as many might think, because esports has become so huge that you'd think sooner or later there may be something to this
Yeah,
caliber.
I don't like. I'm not surprised that something like this has happened, but I find it weird that it's the actual Olympics that it's been paired with. Like, I could definitely see there being some sort of like a world championship sort of thing, but the fact that it's like actually with the Olympics, partnered with the Olympics, is huge. Yeah, the only thing it did cause a bit of for some people in like the sim racing community going, oh, they should have used Assetto Corsa, they should have used iRacing, which are two other simulation racing games effectively. iRacing being one we have to pay a subscription for to be able to take part in. They do quite big events. Yeah, and are known as more actual like simulations. But yeah, Gran Turismo was chosen.
I think it makes more sense to go with something that's more publicly known. So Gran Turismo will probably, if you say,
if you're not into sim racing, you would have heard of Gran Turismo. Whereas if you're not part of like the racing community in the sim racing world, you probably have never heard of iRacing. You may have heard of Assetto Corsa because there are console versions that you may have seen pop on the store on offer or something. But iRacing you definitely wouldn't have unless you are in the community. So yeah, I kind of get what you mean.
Yeah. We also, that is it for gaming news actually. So we'll move on to TV and movies. TV, I have Dominic Purcell. You might know him from Prison Break or from The Flash or Legends of Tomorrow, another DC show. Will be leaving. He initially came out kind of like all guns blazing, not blasting, but kind of saying the studio didn't have respect, but then deleted that and came back and thanked everyone. Said in the moment he was just a bit heated. But it has also been revealed by him that he will be making sporadic appearances throughout season 7. I believe it's season 7. So, or the next season, whatever. He will be making appearances apparently, according to him, and a handshake deal he has with the showrunner. So that will be happening apparently, but he will be leaving the show. We have some Marvel's Secret Invasion news, which I'll let Sean read off.
Yes, so we had announced this week that Emilia Clarke and Olivia Coleman will be joining Marvel's Secret Invasion, two very high-profile actresses. I'm just checking. Do we know
what they're playing?
Who they'll be playing? Yeah.
No, I don't think we know anything about Secret Invasion. No.
Okay, so with little information on that. But yeah, joining the likes of Samuel L. Jackson, Ben Mendelsohn, and the recently recruited Kingsley Ben-Adir. So nice high-profile cast they've got going on there. There's two great new additions.
And we'll get on to the most recently ended Marvel series at the end. But Shang-Chi, another Marvel movie this time. Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, I believe the movie is called. They had a trailer come out recently. I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment on what it was about. But I expect if you haven't seen it, you go and see it if you're a fan of the Marvel movies, or just you want to see what it's all about. We also have Hilary Duff, who will be starring in a How I Met Your Mother spin-off, How I Met Your Father. This spin-off has been in the works for a very long time. It's been rumoured for a while, but it's finally come to fruition. I think it was originally going to happen but wasn't picked up. Go ahead.
I have mixed feelings about this. I absolutely love How I Met Your Mother. It's one of my favourite TV shows. Don't know how this is gonna go. If
See,
I'm honest.
I'll be honest, I don't really care. I like How I Met Your Mother, but the last few seasons probably left a bad taste in many people's mouths. So maybe this could wash that out, or maybe it just could continue that. Who knows?
But
But
I think it will be very dependent on how they go with it, on if
mhm,
they call it a spin-off, and the only connection is like the name sort of thing and the basis behind the story,
yeah,
or if they try and tie it in somehow. I think that'd be very difficult to do because the original series did seem to have very much of like a everyone seemed to have their endings, and it'd be weird for someone to split off. Probably the only person they could do is if Barney Stinson was somehow involved, because it was kind of left at him and Robin broke up, and that's it. Nothing else really
I
said
think
about what
they'll
they
have
did.
some sort
So
of a connection of some way.
there might be something like some of the original characters will pop up in the background, maybe, or like um, what we see may like events may cross over. So there may have been like the original cast were in a certain place.
I,
Like
I
they quite
believe
often.
I believe the series takes place in 2021, so
Okay,
while the original would have been in the past. So yeah, I don't know if we'll
less
see that.
likely,
Yeah,
but
less likely.
like we might see some cameos like in a background or something of the original ones
Hmm.
of them obviously looking older. Who knows? But
Yeah. Well, I've also just realised that I missed out a bit of gaming news, but we'll do it as a co-main event because I've still got two more things to do here. So, some more Marvel news. This is pretty big for any Spider-Man fans out there, but Sony and Disney have reached a deal that allows Spider-Man movies, past and future, to join Disney Plus from 2022 to 2026, and I assume they'll continue that in the future if another deal is struck. Um, and any future releases, so the next Spider-Man Homecoming sequel, whatever it is called, I forgot what was the name? Do you remember? Oh my god,
I think
I don't remember. No Way Home, maybe it might have been No Way Home.
yes.
Yes,
Well done.
it will be able to move to Disney Plus after the Netflix run has ended. So it'll be on Netflix first. I don't know if that's going to be different in the UK, but in America it will be on Netflix first, and then it will move to Disney Plus. So yeah. And the last little bit of news I have here for TV and movie, I believe is the last bit. I'm just gonna hope it's the last bit and move on. But Dave Bautista,
No, it's
from
not.
is it not? You've got a bit. You've got a bit.
Right.
Okay. But Dave Bautista, apparently, I'll get the thing up here so I don't get it wrong. But he went to Warner Brothers and basically said to them, "I want to play Bane." He wants to play Bane in a Batman movie, and he was like, apparently he was serious about this. Um, so maybe we might see a Bane appearance in a future Batman movie. There is going to be a trilogy. The ones with Robert Pattinson, Pattinson will be a trilogy. So we may see Dave Bautista as Bane, which honestly, as long as I don't think you need to be the best actor in the world to do it. I think Dave Bautista is very underrated as an actor as well. So I believe he can do that. I believe he can take that more it's a more serious role than Drax. So yeah, but he was very serious about this. So yeah, I thought that was a nice little bit of news to add on there. Have you got anything else before we move on to my one little
Yeah,
bit?
because we're really bad at keeping news together. It's more Marvel news. Is
Yeah.
that Russell Crowe has let slip who he's playing in
Oh, I
Thor: Love and
forgot about
Thunder?
that one. Oh no.
Well done. So we've gone from Marvel to not Marvel, back to Marvel to not Marvel, back to not Marvel. So hope you
Technically,
keep
it
on
was
your toes,
DC.
making sure
Technically, it
you're
was
aware.
DC. But yeah,
But we're keeping everyone on their toes. But yeah, he's let slip that he'll be playing Zeus in the upcoming Thor film. Actually, he's not had much luck with like the announcements of him in this film because it was never properly announced. He was just noticed on set with all of the other, or like around the set with all the other actors. People are like, oh, guess he's on the film then. And
yeah.
then now he's spoiled that he's going to be Zeus. So Zeus is coming to Thor.
Yeah. So that's all of our news, except it's not, because we missed out the biggest news of all, Sean. Call of Duty Warzone. That happened, didn't it? There was a big event that no one I know could take part in, because the servers won't let anyone on, and they did it at a really terrible time. They did it at like 8 o'clock at night, but they made everyone download it, and then there was massive server queues, so no one could get on it unless you were a streamer and waiting there, or you had the game already downloaded, whatever. It was also a bad time in America because it was while people were at work, which is ridiculous. It was a terrible time. I don't know what they were thinking, but they basically nuked the Warzone map of Verdansk. They had extra little story bits on Rebirth Island, and they also had another event that started at 5 a.m. UK time. 5 a.m. Sean. Which led up to...
You can't please everyone in the world, Jimmy. Somebody's got to be...
They didn't please anyone. They didn't please anyone, Sean. It happened at 12 a.m. in US time, so I don't know what they were trying to do. But
Pleasing the Australians?
Yeah, I'm sure they were real pleased. It was not a well received event, we will say this, but the map itself has also been divisive. But personally, I believe it's a nice change. The map currently, Verdansk got wiped out, but it's back. We went back in time with absolutely zero explanation whatsoever. We just went back into a time to 1984.
Apparently, nukes send you back in time.
Yeah. But yeah, it's Verdansk 1984. That is the new map. Personally, from what I've seen, and I only played one game and dropped in just to have a little bit of a look around, I actually think I prefer this map to the previous Verdansk. It's missing a lot of other stuff, like the bunkers aren't there, the underground parts, the subways. There are a few things that aren't there that could have been added maybe, but there are a lot of cool areas. Stadium is completely open now, and it's very interesting to look at. Be an interesting place to play on. There's an area over Dam, well, Dam's not there anymore. It's called Summit, and it's a big bridge. There is a area of the map called Array, which is, if you played the Black Ops Cold War story mode, there's an area called Duga, I think his name is, and it's got these big array towers that you can actually climb up. You can use a zip line up, and you can basically looks over the whole map. And there are other little points of interest on the map. Personally, I would have liked to see more, maybe a new map entirely, or just new sections as a whole. But I don't hate the map, and I wouldn't mind trying it a bit more before I get a full opinion on it. I can go through everything they added or will be adding in the season pass right here. There is new multiplayer maps for Cold War. That is Yamantau, which is already out, I believe. Diesel, Standoff, which was previously in the old Black Ops and Black Ops 2, I believe.
Black Ops 2, yeah.
And Duga, which is a multi-team map apparently. Sticks and Stones and multi-team elimination are back as multiplayer modes. Sticks and Stones I know was obviously a big wager match in the old Black Ops, but I don't know about multi-team elimination. I assume that's what the Duga map is on about, but I don't know what that means. There was also a new score streak added called Strafe Run. Yeah, if you're into your score streaks. The Warzone event, I don't know if it's ended or if it's still ongoing now, but it was Hunt for Adler, and that took place on Verdansk 98 and Cold War. There were challenges that you could complete, similar to the zombie events and everything else that goes on. There's a new region added in the zombie outbreak map, which is Duga. There was a new field upgrade added called Toxic Growth for zombies. There are 2 new vehicles, the cargo truck and something else which I can't read because the text is so blurry on this apparently. There's also a new bits of intel if you're into your zombie intel. New weapons. This is probably something that will interest a lot of people. The PPSH is back, submachine gun. The Swiss K31, which is a new sniper rifle, which will interest a lot of people. Apparently it's quite good. ballistic knives are back, and during the season, a new pistol will be released called the Amp, I believe. There will also be a new burst rifle called the Carve. I believe it's the CARV, but I don't exactly know how to say it. And there will also be a baseball bat added to the game. And there's a bunch of new operators. If you're interested, they'll be on the Battle Pass. And Captain Price is also in the game now as a operator. I believe I got him when I loaded up the game and it popped up with a thing. I don't know if it's because I have Modern Warfare, so I don't know if you need that for that, but just check, I guess. There's new prestige levels, and there'll be a mid-season event. That's everything that's been announced for that. Yeah, that's all of my Warzone stuff. I don't know if you have anything to comment on that.
Well, I was just gonna say that, like, I like the idea of the map, but I feel like this is probably what they should have done 6 months ago.
I agree.
Because it's not a complete overhaul of the map; it's a change to some areas. I feel like that would have been a good halfway point to make.
They should have done it when Cold War came out.
Yeah, or something like that. And then now would have been a new map. But at least they're doing something, I suppose, and it's more than just the little things they've previously done. Obviously, previously they just opened train station, they opened stadium. But it's a bit more, but I think this should have been done earlier, and at this point it should have been a completely new map. Not so much getting rid of this one, but at least have a new one to run side by side. You could either choose what to do, like you can at the moment with Verdansk and Rebirth Island, or even if it's just you randomly get put into one. Yeah,
I like the
idea
of
the
nighttime mode for Rebirth as well. I like how they swapped, like Rebirth is 2021 and Verdansk is 1984, because it was the opposite way round before. But yeah, I agree completely. This should have happened when Cold War came out. They've also, I believe, Raven Software announced that Verdansk 2021 will never come back. At least in public form, it won't return at all, which I'm a bit mixed on. I'm personally someone who's like, why do you need to get rid of a whole map? Why not just have them in circulation?
At least give people. I think the problem is that it's nice to have them as an option, but I think you then run into issues of, especially like in the first few weeks, you'll have very low server numbers. So to them, it'd be like, well, why are we putting a lot of money into running these servers for very few people to be on them? Because obviously everyone would be wanting to play the new one.
I get what you mean.
Whether that would then balance out later because people will then go back and switch it up, I don't know. But I'm assuming they'd have to have a set of servers for Verdansk, a set of servers for 84. That it's more of a cost to them. So they're like, well, we might as well just send everything over to 84. They can't
run their servers now, so yeah, I totally
exactly. So there's no
for a multi-million-dollar or billions probably Activision. They really did not handle this event very well, and it was not well received, and it just didn't run well for a lot of people. You think they would have done better?
That's the only reason I can think why.
Fortnite doesn't struggle as much as these lot do. And I'm not condoning Fortnite.
But to be fair, Fortnite only has that one online mode, whereas at least with Call of Duty, they're obviously you have effectively two Battle Royale maps, because you do have Rebirth Island. I mean, it's a lot smaller, so the server numbers aren't as high, but you still have to run that, and they run with the multiplayer maps with the different game modes. So there's so many servers running just for multiplayer as well.
Yeah.
Whereas in Fortnite, they just have the servers for the Battle Royale mode. So I get why.
Yeah. Well, anyway, go play it if you haven't, if you're interested. If not, whatever. Anyway, Falcon and the Winter Soldier are our main topic for today. Surprisingly, we've only just reached an hour. I thought this would be a much longer podcast. So, Falcon and the Winter Soldier just recently ended today. That's why we waited an extra day
fresh
for the podcast.
News.
Hot and fresh. I was going to make a really bad joke, but we can't do it on this podcast, so we're not doing it. But what did you think? Before we start, what did you think?
Right. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's not wow. It's amazing. personally, I think WandaVision was better. I don't know if that also it plays a part of it because there's only 6 episodes. But I think for me, because there are 6 episodes, I expect it to feel more like a lot was going on, but I feel like there wasn't.
Yeah, I'm kind of critical on a lot of things. I actually really liked the last episode, but it felt like setup. It felt like there was more to come, you know.
Yeah,
But we
it
have
does feel like
nothing
this is
about
a season to set up a second season.
yeah. So spoiler alerts. This is obviously a spoiler podcast. You know, what do you expect? But um, Sam Wilson, Falcon, is now Captain America. I really like the suit. I thought the suit was really cool. I like the wings. Just it's a cool way to take it. I'm really glad they did that. Sharon Carter is the power broker. She's a villain all along. Wow, didn't expect that to happen at all.
What would her mother think? Was it mother? What?
No, she's
Was it auntie?
aunts. Yeah, aunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would her auntie think? Jesus Christ. Poor Peggy.
Poor Peggy. But I don't know where they're going to go with any of this. Like there have been rumors that there will be a season 2. Like they have been discussing a season 2, but I'd like to sort of take it into the movies. I want to see a Captain America movie with Falcon and well with Captain America now and Winter Soldier. Um, I felt like for something called Falcon and the Winter Soldier, while Bucky got his time, he got like he got to move past all of the stuff he'd done, cross every name off his list, and he had like his moments in the series. This was very much a Falcon series. This was very much Sam Wilson, main character, Bucky, kind of main character, but also not the focus.
So it really should have been the Falcon and Carly.
Yeah,
Like,
Carly, big issue with her. I liked the motivations of the character. I liked the whole point that they were refugees that were about to be thrown out, and it gave a reason, like the whole ending with Captain America going like in front of all the cameras, berating these officials. That was really cool. But I just massively, I, I she didn't feel like a big villain, and I like villains that have motivations that are good but do bad things. I know a lot of people are complaining online, like, why am I against these? I don't want to be against these kids who are like just trying to do good. But I'm like, yeah, but that's what makes a good villain. A good villain whose intentions aren't all bad, but they do bad things. I saw a tweet, someone saying, "Am I meant to believe this person's supposed to be the bad guy?" I'm like, she's not necessarily a bad guy, but she's the antagonist. She is she's not the good guy in the story. She's the antagonist because she kills people. She like, and I get a lot of people like it's just a stereotype, but there wouldn't be a villain if you didn't do something like that. What do you want? What do you want? But I agree that I wanted more. Zemo probably should have been the villain, and it's hinted at the end that he had the rest of the super soldiers killed, or at least was somewhat involved in it. Because they all, I didn't really get it because at first I was like, were they agreeing to die because the soldier was like said their one people thing, and then they went off in a van, and then they blew up, and I was like,
and then died immediately.
Did they do that? Like, I get that, but what are the dots?
So it was kind of hinting that they were going to escape,
yeah,
and then all of a sudden they're dead. So it was a very quick, like I can't misdirection. That's the word. If that's the case, but yeah, it was a little bit confusing of what actually went on at that moment.
But it is like theorized that Zemo is behind it, or Val, who in the comics, spoiler alert, she was a major part of Shield, but became Madam Hydra, I believe, and Viper. Some people might know the character of Viper from X-Men, not X-Men, from the Wolverine, the one where he went to Japan, that movie. and also Madam Hydra, who was a character in Agents of Shield, which who knows if that's canon anymore. But it was a different. It was not the real Madam Hydra because it was in a simulation in Agents of Shield. But that is who this character is supposed to be. So I expect her to be a big part of things going forward. I don't know if she'll connect just the TV shows, but I like her sort of maybe bringing a version of the Dark Avengers together with US Agent, who is John Walker, who probably should have been the bad guy for the season. I'm surprised that they took the turn, and the last episode he went from this maniacal killer who just got shamed in front of everyone to I'm just going to help all the good guys. And then it sort of
I feel
hinted
like
that he went
they
off.
should have just pushed him as the bad guy more instead
I
of giving him
think
this weird.
I think
I think
what
they
should have
will.
happened was, when he got the option to either go after Carly and go after the van, I believe they should have just had him go after Carly. Like he went split decision. It pans to the van, and the van starts falling, but Falcon comes and saves it, and he just goes after Carly. They should have done that because it makes more sense for the motive. I don't know a lot about US Agent. I'll be honest. But I believe he is like very much a villain to Captain America. So it was weird to see him go from hero to sympathetic hero to villain, kinda. Well, to anti-hero to villain to hero,
Yeah, there
and
doesn't
then to
seem to be
villain
like
it again, or to
a
anti-hero.
proper
Yeah,
arc to him. It's a bit of a
I get it. I
well,
get
what are we
it.
gonna do now?
It makes sense. It makes sense. I don't want to say it doesn't make sense because if you think about it, he had PTSD, lost his friend, went off the deep end, then maybe realized, right, he wouldn't want me to do this. He'd want me to save people, so he did that. But he's supposed to be a villain. I'm pretty sure. I don't want to sit here and look up the history of US Agent because I want to find out how they take it in the TV show. But from what I know, he is sort of the opposite to Captain America because there isn't like Steve Rogers is Captain America. He's supposed to be the one man who had his morals in check, who was this good man but also knew the line, whereas John Walker wasn't, and was kind of the opposite of that. But they're not going that direction, or well, they kind of are because it's hinted that he's joining Val's little team. So I'm interested where they go with that, and I hope we get more sooner rather than later. Like, I don't think we'll get anything in Loki, which is the next show I believe coming out. I don't know exact date. I need to look this up actually.
Believe it's June.
Okay. Oh, right. Is it
I
really that
looked.
much?
Yeah, I looked the other week because 11th of June.
Oh wow. So there is a big gap. We were right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We thought
But I
we were
think
wrong.
well, when we discussed it before, it's because we forgot about Falcon and Winter Soldier for a start.
Yeah.
But then I think we probably had in our minds that we're going to be a similar number of episodes as WandaVision, which obviously there isn't.
Yeah.
So that's cut it a few weeks shorter. So if you think, if you go to the was it eight or nine for WandaVision? 9.
It was. Oh my god! It was 8. 8.
But even if it's 8, that then takes you to the 7th of May. So there's only a few weeks then in between, 9 even less.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those 2 extra weeks of not having an episode just makes it seem 9. Okay, so there you go. That would then take you to the 14th of May, which then only leaves you 3 weeks short again of the next one. So I think those fewer 3 weeks obviously makes that gap seem so much bigger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't want to say it was bad because it was good. I really enjoyed the series, so I'm not going to say it was bad, obviously. But so there are things that were better that could have been better.
Yeah. So it's not a 10 out of 10 perfect, amazing series, but it wasn't bad. If it was bad, I wouldn't have finished 6 episodes. I would have stopped. So it's not that not that it's bad or anything, but it could have been better. They could have done things better, gone in a certain way. For saying I said I was expecting more to happen, it was more obviously action based than WandaVision. I think probably most most, if not all, of the episodes had some sort of fight scene.
Mm-hmm.
For like some sort of action, which
I like the changing up the genres for each show. That's what makes it
yeah,
all interesting for me. And I do like that they're trying to connect it more, but I wish there was a bit more of a payoff to the like One Division ended with you've got to wait for Doctor Strange. We don't know when Vision's going to show up again, but you got to wait for Doctor Strange, which is fine because we already knew that. But with this, we're like, so are we going to see more of Sharon as the power broker, or is she just going to be a villain? Are we going to see more of Falcon? Well, Captain America. Are we going to see Winter Soldier do more than just what he's been doing for like the past 10 years? Like, are we going to get
so I
more of
think
that? Because we don't know. There's nothing been announced. So
yeah, nothing's been announced, but I think it definitely seems to be set up for a second season. It's either set up for a second season or set up for a movie, but I
Or
can't
both.
see them doing a movie because you'd end up having to call it Captain America: The Winter Soldier again. So you'd end up
No,
having two movies.
it'd just be Captain America or something. I don't think they'd need to
But
specify the Winter Soldier because
I
he
also think,
they're in Civil War and they don't specify the Winter Soldier in that. You know,
yeah,
like
obviously that's because the film before was Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
yeah. But I'm
But
saying like if they do a Captain America movie, it will focus on Sam Wilson. I don't think
yeah,
Winter Soldier will be in it, but he'll be in it like he was in the first Avenger. You know, he's the side character. He's the supporting
but then
character.
also think because of that title screen at the end saying Captain America: Winter Soldier, I think that's kind of like just the hint that it's going to be a new series,
Mm-hmm.
which they'll just change the name from Falcon to Captain America. I think. Um, I feel like if there was a film, we probably would have heard about it by now because they do like to
Could be
announce
Phase 5. They could do
quite a
an
lot.
Avengers movie and then go on afterwards.
Yeah, but I think even if that was the case, we'd get some more seasons of this first. So I think
Mm-hmm.
either way, you'd end up with getting more seasons of this.
And to put to the point of we would have heard of a new movie, they like to sometimes, if they have something coming out beforehand, they don't like to announce movies like wait for the series to end and then maybe announce in a few weeks that then there will be a Captain America movie or there will be a season two. Because the season two was only in talks recently. I don't know if they made this season with season two in mind, but the way they ended it made it feel like season two was in mind, you know?
Yeah, so it's for this. It's very easy for them to do a season two with how they've left it, and also with how the characters are. I think as well that because the whole point of Captain America is he's just like the character he is. You can just set him against whatever villain you want. Whereas I think with other characters, you need a certain story for it,
Yeah.
but they can easily make a series of okay, here's a main villain that's like attacking America, let's go. And then end that season, like Captain America wins, and then move on to the next one of here's another villain, and you can easily do that. Whereas with some of the other characters, I feel like you can't do that as much. So it's definitely open to easily create more seasons and as many seasons as they want, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I personally would. I don't know. I want to see more. Like I said, I want to see more from the Winter Soldier, and whether that's if they change. I believe in the comics he's only been the Winter Soldier and Captain America, which was why I was kind of at first just make him Captain America and keep Sam as Falcon because then like you're not having you're having Sebastian Stan not do much, and it made not a lot of sense. But I liked one of the things I did like is the stuff with Isaiah Bradley, sorry, where they put his statue in and his story so everyone remembers. I liked Sam becoming Captain America in the end. I really liked the suit. I think he fits the role really well. It's just I want more for Sebastian Stan to do because he just needs something. Whether they just turn the Winter Soldier into a proper Avenger, like make him become the Winter Soldier, but like a good Winter Soldier, because that's the only character he's got other than Captain America.
Yeah, I
Or
think
they
at the
make another
moment,
role for him entirely. But
so I think at the moment there isn't really, or it doesn't seem like there's an obvious place for him to go as a character,
hmm,
like unless he is going to be just a sidekick to Sam, because he's kind of had that full arc of his story, especially with the last episode of
yeah,
he told um, his friend about killing his son in the last episode. That kind of, or for me anyway, I feel like that rounds off his Winter Soldier story of
yeah,
that's done now.
So he
but
needs to
he
move
feels
on.
like he's reached he's reached the end of that. He's come to terms with everything, and now it's time to move on into something else. But what that is, I have
It's
no
just
clue.
where do you go with the character of Bucky Barnes right now? That's the one thing that I want to see where they go. Oh, technical difficulties. Don't we love them? What was I saying? Spoiler. The spoilerish thing that I was going to say was, don't know if you remember in the penultimate episode where he gave his wings to his friend Torres. In the comics, Torres becomes Falcon, so you would expect maybe they go there. I don't know if they will, or if that was just a little bit of a, oh, he was Falcon in the comics. If you got that,
Yeah, they do like those little Easter eggs that they do nothing with, don't they? So.
yeah. So that may be the case. Yeah, like we were saying, we don't know where this is going to go. Yeah. What do you have to say? You were talking while we had technical issues.
Well, it was more. I was still on the whole Bucky Barnes thing of that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a positive or a negative for them. Of they could go anywhere. Of they could really do anything with it, but then that's very risky. Of because you have so much opportunity, you can choose to do something, and people go, that doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem like a logical place to go. So yeah. It's going to be interesting. I can't see where they go with him from here, apart from just keeping him as like a sidekick sort of thing to Captain America. But we'll have to wait and see.
We will have to wait and see. Overall, if you had to rate it out of 10 as a series, what would you give it?
I'll probably go around a 7.5.
Okay, same. I'll give it a 7. WandaVision for me was better. I think the extra episodes kind of helped me digest it more. Plus, I binged WandaVision because I only started watching when the penultimate episode came out, so I only had a week to wait for the last episode. But with this, I watched it week by week, so it was a bit of a less enjoyable watch. But it wasn't bad. It was good. I really like the characters in it. John Walker, what was his name? Wyatt Russell is the actor. He was really good, and I hope we see more of him, and not just in TV shows. I hope we see him in the movies, possibly.
So I think we said before when we mentioned about the hate he was getting that he did a great job of acting as someone who you wanted to hate.
Yeah. I don't hate him. I'm just very interested in his character.
No, as in the character.
Yeah,
the character.
Yeah. I know. But like the character itself, people hate him, but I'm just like, it's an interesting villain. This is what you need. You need interesting, anti-hero. He's an anti-hero, whatever. Yeah. But he's interesting. I want to see where he goes from here. A lot of people are just like, oh, he's wearing the suit. I hate him. Grr, get him off my screen. I'm just like, that's the point. Is you're meant to not like him, but you're meant to like at least be interested to see where he goes. It's just internet culture's fun, isn't it? Internet culture is great.
Oh yes.
Yes. But we will be. We'll probably do another one of these sort of podcasts where we talk about a Marvel show when Loki finishes its run, probably in August by the time it comes out.
So it'll be a little way away, but
yes. But major episodes to look out for is every week, because you should be watching every week. So catch us next week, either Thursday or Friday. I don't know if we're going to continue doing it on Friday. We'll talk about that anyway. But either Friday or Saturday it will be released. But yeah, we'll catch you around. Like us, follow us, subscribe, comment, all the usual stuff. And we'll see you next week.